We're heading into March, and I will tell you this, there are some amazing, powerful growth opportunities at hand right now. For me, a lot of this started on the 222 portal right after the new moon. These versions of me that have been hiding for a long time started coming up to be seen. And it's been a very interesting experience. And as this ascension energy just rises in frequency, we are shining or casting a brighter light on our shadows. And right now, we have a fantastic opportunity to create some space and really observe and fully feel and embrace these versions of us that we've identified with for many, many years, sometimes decades. We are peeling back the layers and we are shedding our skin, let's say, like a serpent or a snake, right? We are shedding our skin. And what is going to be left is our universal light, our source being, multidimensional consciousness is what's going to shine through. But in order to get there, we need to peel back the layers that we've become or identified with throughout our life. And this energy is very supportive right now of this. You're going to be receiving synchronicities and little nudges and little pokes from your guides and your higher self that are going to trigger some things that are in the way. This energy is front and center. It is beaming through us, grounding through us. And as it encounters the density within the body, it starts to wobble. It reflects out these old identities that we are shedding now. I've had some things over the past week, things that related back to my old profession, things that just with dealing with certain people that maybe at a lower frequency, and those types of situations have come up for me to experience. And I've been so removed from those individuals that it's really giving me an opportunity to see how much I've grown in the past year and a half since I left my practice, last year since I left my practice, my accounting practice. So good opportunity to do that. So when things come up and you're triggered, I want you to breathe into the body and create some space. Find that peace. Find that peace within the heart space. Okay, that peace, it's not something we create. It's something that is forever present. It was anchored into this body in our DNA when we came here. It is there. We've just been looking away for far too long. We've been looking externally and basically running our lives through what our five senses are showing us. Find the peace internally. Get into that gravity, that singularity of stability in the heart space, and observe these versions of you that are coming up to be seen. And for me, it's happening very, very quickly in many different situations, not only situations from my old life and my old career. There's just a couple of things with that, minor things, not a big deal, but it's things that I've addressed. But just even with people, like I said before, that are maybe at a lower frequency, more in fear, walking that 3D reality, interacting with those, I'm better able to create space and provide a compassionate, loving energy so that they can have an opportunity to discover who they really are. Think of it this way. When we land here and we're born, I want you to envision just a dark, long, super long hallway, no lights, just completely black. And we are born here and we awaken and we're cut off from our light. It's just the darkness, the heaviness. And we're only processing really what our five senses are showing us. And then we rely more solely really on what our five senses are showing us. And that's how we navigate our life. And that's how the ego rises up and tries to keep us safe throughout our life. But one day you're going to realize, many of you have, if you've had a spontaneous awakening like I did, where I was popped out of my body, had my higher self, this energy rushing through me. You could have had a spontaneous awakening like that, where you're going to start to perceive the light that is within you. Or maybe you're just tired of dealing with what your senses are showing you in this false sort of reality that's playing out there. and you search for something deeper, and you start to look inside, and you start to find that speck of light at the end of that hallway. Way down at that hallway, all of a sudden, a speck of light manifests. And that is who you really are. Now, it's a tiny little speck of light because you have a lot of layers to shed. You have a lot of healing to do. You have to step away and detach from these identities that you've built up and created over time to keep you safe. As you go through the healing process and remove these layers, that light at the end of the hallway starts to get bigger, and it becomes easier for you to spot it. When you first become aware of that light, sometimes it's hard to get back into it. We go through a dark night of the soul where it seems to be closed. We're closed off from it. We lose touch with it. And then we reawaken, we emerge from that, and the light returns. It never went anywhere. We just focused away from it as we did this deep healing work. When you come back to that light, you're going to find that it's a little bit brighter. Okay. And that light is a reflection of what you have right here in your heart. Okay. This singularity, this space. Okay. The real you coming through this multidimensional portal is represented by that light down that hallway. So this is a metaphor, of course, right? So when you start to peel back these layers and you do the healing work and you start to sit with your emotional traumas as they come up, and you bring compassion forward, you sit and you love into them and bring everything into the light, that light at the end of the hall starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter. And it's a lot easier for you to find it when we hit these emotional waves from this high frequency energy that's coming in. When we're clearing the emotional traumas, we'll hit these big waves, we'll get triggered. The light is brighter. It's easier to get back into it. And that's because you've meditated and you've done your breath work and you've built the circuitry within your body. You're more in coherence. Your brain and your heart are speaking the same language. It's easier to navigate these bumps in the road because you've built that circuitry. So you go right back to the light where you start to veer off and you're not seeing it. You go right back to it. It happens more easily and quickly. Okay, more quickly. So the growth process is really coming down now, and our guides, our star guides, your higher self is coming in, all of this energy. And as it grounds into the body, it's going to reflect out more of the things that need to be healed. So it's very important, especially this month coming up in March, to really take a look at how much you've grown. Okay, when you get triggered, like I've been experiencing some things recently, like I've said, I could take a look at that from a different perspective and say, wow, I didn't really react to that like I might have a couple of years ago. Okay, doesn't mean I didn't feel it, because these things stick with us. The difference is we rise in frequency, we gain a new perspective, and we continue to look at these traumas or these versions of us, these identities, from a higher perspective each time they rise up. And with that, you can gauge your growth. Maybe not in the beginning. You may find that you're triggered and it takes you maybe a few days to really start to settle down. It could be even longer, right? Because your frequency, it's up a little bit. But as you continue to heal, the frequency rises even further, and you then can really see the growth. It becomes perceivable to you. You can really feel it and understand that, because you've created so much space to allow these versions of you to come up to fully present themselves. You didn't resist them. Whereas in the past, maybe you felt it. Oh, you started to identify with it and just resisted the healing process, right? You became that. Therefore, your frequency maybe dropped to match that identity as it came up. Now you're holding your frequency high, and you're giving that version of you, that old version of you, the space to breathe, to be seen, to be felt. And we feel that. And by feeling that, we heal that. Okay, because we allow it to rise in frequency. Instead of us coming back down to meet it, we allow it to rise in frequency. And then it rejoins the central channel, moves up through the toric field, and becomes part of that divine energy flow. Okay. And your reality then starts to manifest more coherently, more of a higher frequency, more in alignment with your higher self. Okay. And you start to access your multidimensional gifts and those types of things because they land in the body and they find space so that you can integrate them. The DNA comes online, and these abilities that were long forgotten are now starting to be remembered. That's something else that's going to happen in March, that a lot of these abilities are going to really start to come online and light up for you guys. Okay, so kind of be on the lookout for that. That's really, really exciting. Okay, and that's just a function of you remembering who you are, a multidimensional being. We're moving into a field of energy where we can manifest these abilities. Okay, it's supportive of that. But in order for you to do that, you need to really create that space and observe all the stuff that's coming up and allow yourself just to be accepting of that energy, that density, and fully feel it. We're the alchemizers. We're machines that raise the frequency of energy. We're doing it in here in our body, and we're doing it for the collective. So allow yourself to function as that machine and start with what's happening within you and fully feel it there. And then when you're out and about dealing with others that might be of a lower frequency, like I've had to over the past week or so, you could really bring awareness to the situation and observe your feelings, anchor your light, and stand in that power and broadcast or shine your light out so others can experience it. It might not be comfortable for them. Just like when our old identities pop up, it's uncomfortable for us. When we shine our light on somebody that's really resistant and really rigid and wants to hang out in a low frequency, they're going to resist that. It's the opposite of what's going on within us. They're not going to want to go there, but you're going to give them an opportunity to. And subconsciously, their subconscious is going to pick up on that light because it knows that's who they really are. And that's how we plant seeds. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for that, because what we're seeing in our reality is going to become more crazy, weird, lots of things happening. For me, the past few days, really today especially, I feel like I'm walking in a completely different world. And it's not because of what I'm seeing externally, it's what I'm feeling in here. And that's because something new is coming forward, because I've allowed these old layers of me to come up, and instead of identifying with them, and some of them have had a very strong electromagnetic pull, I've been able to stay anchored in my body here instead of jumping out into the mental field and becoming those identities again. So I've anchored my awareness in here, and I've allowed those versions of me to come out and come up and be felt. Okay, and it's been happening a lot. It's going to happen for you. Know that we're all going through it. Know that it's part of the process. And really, the more you experience those types of traumas coming up, those identities coming back up, the more you're going to grow. Okay, so don't resist it. Don't run from it. Be compassionate with yourself. Bring your breath back to your body. Breathe into the heart space. Deep breath into the heart space, and find the peace and feel the peace, no matter how bad it seems to get for you. If anxiety or fears, whatever it is, rear up stress, if you need to remove yourself in that moment from the situation, go sit outside if you can, if you're in a place where you can do that, or go find a room where you can sit with yourself and find that peace within here. Remove yourself from the situation, realign, recenter, and you'll feel that dense energy lift. It'll move right through you. You're an energy alchemizer, okay? All you have to do is find that peace in the midst of this density rising up, and you will change its frequency and heal. And that elevates your frequency and allows you to bring down more of who you really are, more of your multidimensional self. And again, the amazing abilities that go along with that will start to come online. So it's a challenge for the month of March. There's a challenge for you guys. Anybody listening to this video, if you know somebody that needs to hear this, share this video. The challenge I'm putting out there for March is to not run from this stuff. Don't hide from it. Okay? It's coming up because the energy is here to support us. It's showing us our shadows. Very, very bright light coming through, reflecting the shadows out. I challenge you to find the peace. Allow and accept the moment. Okay? Be accepting of whatever comes up. And sit with it and find the peace within your heart. And you're going to be amazed at how that shifts you. And all of a sudden, the problems that old identity would want to manufacture, what your ego would want to manufacture out of any situation, don't seem so monumental anymore. Okay. And again, for me, they might have a while back. They don't anymore because I'm feeling my sovereignty and my power within here. Okay. And that's coming up. That is rising up. And that's what we want to embody. So take the month of March and work on that challenge. Sit with these things. Hold the space for them. And bring them back into your mix. And amazing things are going to start to happen. Thank you so much.